Yes, there you are. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. I just joined for testing, but I'm 1 minute earlier than expected.
Yeah. So nice to have you here with us.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, there we go.
Allez, let's go.
I'm very honored to be speaking to Azra Deniz Okyay today, the director of Ghosts, a film that builds a multi-layered portrait of modern-day Istanbul through a portrait of four characters whose life intersect. The film was part of the Critics Week in Venice, where it won the award for best film, and in Gent it will also feature in our competition. Thank you for joining us today. First of all, how are you? How have you been coping with the global health crisis that holds the world?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, every day there is new news about the world, so I don't know what to expect. I just arrived from Paris, and I just learned that they are really bad.
Yeah.
Actually, in my country also we are really bad. I don't know.
Yeah. But in this very strange period, your film premiered in Venice. That must have been quite an experience, no?
Yeah, it was a miracle, little miracle we are calling it, because we didn't I mean, we were expecting to be on a festival one day, but it was so. I just shoot this film in November, last November.
Mm-hmm.
And we just finished it and so quickly, and it's arrived festival in a pandemic. I mean, even the film is a chaos, and how I finished and I arrived to Venice, it was another chaos. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to realize, yeah.
Yeah, and then it won the award, which is must
Yeah,
have been.
it's another chaos, and yeah.
You made an impressive debut that you directed, but you also wrote a script in which you tackle quite a few controversial topics within Turkish politics and society, ranging from the status of women, political activism, gentrification. Can you tell us a bit where the ideas came from and how you developed your script?
How it develops. I'm coming from firstly, and both of side of my family they are immigrants, and I've been educated by many other cultures. Like I've been educated by Turkmen, Bulgarian immigrants, and also I got French education
Mm-hmm.
in my past. And I always feel like I kind of universal citizenship. I mean, somehow some kind of objectivity for the world. And I could see all the decrescendo of my country, like all the bad things was happening about mostly in urban planning and architecture, because my parents are architects, urban planners, and I could see absolutely very well how they were making their new way, and it was absolutely also at the same time going to the human side,
Mm-hmm.
sociologically, aesthetically, and also democratically. So I write it drop by drop in 4 years, and I couldn't make it the film, and maybe I could find some finance, maybe the first 2 years. The film not gonna be like that. It's better to finishing now, because every year, every day, my country is changing. There's another chaos, and I wanted to show how my generation, my friends, we were dealing with it.
Yeah. Did you draw a lot from your own experiences, and are some of the characters based on people that you know that are really close to you, or is it all
Yeah,
fictionalized? Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I know from I work 2 years ago. I made a short documentary in Sulukule. It's a ghetto, the oldest remaining ghettos who get been
Hmm.
destroyed a few years ago. So I went there for seeing how people were dealing with their life. So they moved, but the kids were still trying to dance. Otherwise, they were in drugs, and their mothers was trying to not selling drugs, but they were jumping on the drugs with because of the situations. I could see how they were dealing, and they want to get another life. How they were going to the darkness on their life, in sociology, it was really interesting for me. I really spent time there. I also made a video workshop for the kids. I saw how education is really important, how
Yeah.
you can deal with the kids' minds. Just one film can change their world, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
I saw that, and I wrote also about this little energy that you can bring
yeah.
the kids.
Yeah. Yeah. We never really get the full story of the film. There's been a power outage. There's a helicopter constantly flying over. The city is apparently burning. People are angry. Is this the Turkey or the Istanbul that you fear, or is it some kind of a resistance standing up? You feel in you wanted to portray?
Yeah, exactly. I also put the sound, this helicopter sound was coming and cutting the words when you're talking, because the
Mm-hmm.
helicopter sound, my last 5 years here, there's a lot. And when
Yeah.
there is a helicopter that you can see, we are not living in New York. So it's
Uh-huh.
not a cab. It means that there's a big travel. So you're like,
Uh-huh.
okay, what's going on? Like, politically, there's something's really bad happening. So I involve that like in a video art way, because I use it in this documentary. I use with another sound music. It was the Nirvana heart-shaped box cover, and the sound of my documentary was like that, the same rhythm of the helicopter. We played it. But where for this film, I use again this kind of music some way, and also the helicopter. So they're crashing together. So the sounds coming from that. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Um, there are four characters. The four characters, three of them are strong women. It's a mother, it's the young dancer, feminist artist. The male characters in your film represent a more negative, I can say, a reactionary people filming, even the women filming during the protest. Yet it's not only a feminist pamphlet, I think. You, for example, talk a lot about, in interviews also, I read you talk about LGBT rights. Can you tell
Yeah.
us a bit about the motivation to talk about these subjects in your film?
Sure, of course. I'm of course a feminist or post-feminism. I don't know. Everybody have to be should be feminist, of course. But I didn't write to be just about being a woman, because I can see all my friends of this scene, LGBT or queer, or also just being a woman, they are dealing with the same stuff in Turkey, just about to can breathe and say what we want, and just trying to live, by the way, just simple. So it was so important to archiving this situation on my film, and also showing how women's, I mean, the women's that I grew up, it's the most courageous and beautiful woman that I can say. I'm not so objective here, but they learn me how to deal, like, how I can say, you want to do something on your life, but you have to pass from the window for making it, you know? It's really this kind of situation, how we were living in Turkey. So, of course, because I'm a woman, I mostly show what I know as a feeling, and I try to understand also this guy, because for me it's really the bad guy of the film, and also it's a Sisyphus character, like on the mythology, like or kind of a Stockholm syndrome, like he had to do this bad thing. He's feeling that it's a good way, but at the end he's really on the darkness. And I need to show it and understand his emotions for writing it. Otherwise, just hate or love on this country is the two important words. But I really get the kind of empathy with this guy for trying to also survive in the streets.
Yeah. There's a scene in which two women wear a headscarf to get away from the police. Is this something that really happens in Istanbul? Yeah.
I just learned when I was writing. Some friends of mine were all the time saying a woman came when they were doing, and it was all the time a woman. And it made me so. I was like, it's not possible that it can be a one woman. And I just learned that there were so many women who was coming sometimes with their kids, a kid who was giving this drugs, you know, and it's really so trash, of course. And but I think that this woman have to be her husband or his son was doing that, and when they're inside on the prison, they don't have any other solutions because the government don't take care of them. The kids are involved on that. You can see absolutely this age of how a life can turn. When I saw that in the ghetto when I was working, 5 minutes after, 5 minutes before, their life can change, right? And they cannot get out. And this is the critique of my society, I think. I'm pointing that about this education and the government's situations.
You already told that your parents are architects, and so gentrification is really another important topic in your film, which is of course not only in Turkey happening, but it's in cities around the world, often at the expense of the poor people. What kind of reflections do you hope to achieve with your film on this subject?
I'm trying to point something that everybody was saying before me, of course, like also the people, about just urban planners, and now it's also ecology. Like they are really destroying everywhere, and they are thinking that it's going to be a new Turkey, but there is no new Turkey when you're destroying. It's just a distraction. So my parents, my father was from UNESCO member, and I could see how when cities like Venice, it's from UNESCO, you know, when they are being protected, you can see how the culture, how the people can understand what's going on, what is good or bad. But this distraction means they are bringing their reality, and this is more dangerous than ever, because I mean, it was really the most important thing for me for making my building. This film was also kind of a cathedral of Gaudi in Spain, Sagrada Familia. It's all shapes is different, but I think that when once is going, the other's gonna go like a domino effect. So that's why I bring this structure of kind of a dinosaurs coming on the film, like all the city. You can see all the city, and there's a little ghetto in the middle. I really construct the film like that. Normally, there's not just one ghetto, by the way. It's just a cinema. You can feel maybe like that. It's a good point. But yeah, it's really the big monster and the little people, and how we are dealing with that, and also what's coming new from this generation who's dealing. I think that we can learn something. It's not just I'm not really so pessimist about that. We can still deal with that, and what I was trying to show that on the film. The little lights.
And the atmosphere of your film seems sometimes perhaps a bit pessimistic at times. Still, there is a shimmer of hope for the future, especially in the dance scenes, the young kids. So you still are hopeful for a better world?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really waking up every day so positive, and I'm not really, but I'm trying to find the little lights on the streets, on my friends' eyes, on these kids. Women's, they are really important in Turkey because they are really dealing with this stuff. So I'm learning a lot from them, and people begin to learn a lot being in opposition in the streets. You're not allowed to say what you want in Turkey, and they are still dealing with that, and that's why I need hope. I mean, we're still on the streets all together, and I'm sure that there is not bad or good. I mean, I don't like this. There is I saw in 10 years how people change, and what I'm showing in this film. But if people change, maybe we can go back together in a good way also. I don't want to be pessimist on the side, because it's impossible to live. I can't write that all my life. I need to write something else. I just write that because I wanted to understand what was going on really,
Yeah.
like an anthropologue maybe. But as an artist, I need to figure out how I can deal with the sound of helicopter. But I need another world for sure.
Mhm. Yeah. The film is divided in chapters following the various characters, and and sometimes you flash back and forth in time. Is this a structure that was conceived from the beginning, and why did you use this structure?
Mm-hmm. I'm calling this film a hand woven carpet, like a Turkish carpet. Firstly, because it's really written kind of a little tiny colors.
Mm-hmm.
And when I began to write this film, I know that there is some ensemble, a choral movie can happen because I made also a short before, and I know this mathematic. It was it's really hard mathematic to bring in. You cannot write in one sentence, but I need to get a kind of choral movie for understanding all together. And I hope that next film I will write just one character because it's really hard to edit. But I remember I get being awarded in Thessalonic Film Festival thanks to them, and I get being in script residency. And I was all the time like a puzzle. I was getting out once and putting back, and then at the end, all the characters always coming with the same sound. So at the end, you're understanding what you want to say, and you know how the editing have to be done. But just before the shooting, I get my editor, Iris, who she's really talented, and my DOP on the same time. So we begin to work before the shooting how I'm gonna end up the scene and how I'm gonna cut it. So that's why the editing is kind of chaotic maybe for you, but we really managed to be really in details how they're gonna match together.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's impossible that can be fluid like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I hope that it's fluid.
Yeah, definitely.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, but it was really hard, absolutely so hard to making this film and editing and stuff.
Yeah. I read in the press file that you wanted to make or you wanted to talk about the Turkish generation of now, the generation, your generation. Yet your film is set in the very near future. It's set, what was it, November 26th? Why?
October, yeah.
Of October, so it's very close, the day that it's why that specific date?
2 weeks, 20 days.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need to get some point that nobody can say, okay, it passed. I need a date, and I need something that anybody can say, no, at this time it was not like that. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get one date. It's also the same date of Back to the Future, the film. So I get a little calendar of that. So.
Can you explain the title for us a bit? Ghosts. Who are the four characters for you? The ghosts, or?
Yeah, I ghost because I was feeling like a ghost, and
you were feeling like a ghost.
Yeah,
I was
as
a director.
like a ghost when I was living when I'm living in Turkey. So yeah, I put this name. I think it was funny, and I really understand how also they're trying to live, and also the film is going to darkness. It's one day, in one day, so you can see how they can disappear or not disappearing. Getting a kind of a metaphor of that and being more a little bit dystopic about that.
Yeah. And I read somewhere that you have been blacklisted once by the Turkish government, yet you make a film that is really critical about your country. It's filmed a lot on the streets. You have this your opening and closing shot is the journey with a car, but a lot of footage was shot on the street. Was that difficult for you to shoot, or did you just go about and film it?
Firstly, yeah, I mean, there is, I signed a petition in Turkey after the academician about peace. We need peace in the country. So we learned that we were in blacklist one day after. Blacklist means you don't have been supported by your government. So I get a cut on all the support for the cinema. So that's why also I couldn't make this film. And at the end, last June last year, we decided with a little, really little money, nano budget, I'm calling. We decided to shooting it. I shoot it to, attention, to $70,000, the production. It's nothing. 2-3 years ago, we were talking about 700,000, but
yeah,
because I said, okay, if I'm not shooting, I'm gonna die. It's impossible to make this film. So with my producer, we said we just met all together. I mean, 1.5 years ago, and we just decided to making it. Hopefully, before it didn't work with the other people, and we get the rights of the film, of course, for changing the script and a little bit arranging some dialogues and stuff for being more. We are not guerrillas, you know. We also write something about a situation. It's not something really bad, whatever. But the shooting was really tough for us because we get the rights for shooting and stuff from the municipality and stuff, of course. Because my producer didn't have problems on the name, but you can get municipality shooting rights. It's okay. But the day that one of the shooting nights, when there is a big fire in a place, suddenly the government people think that we were really burning the city. And they arrived with 6 tanks and 30 Kalashnikov to my shooting, pointing to my team, thinking that I was making a fire and getting big riots in this ghetto. Because also it was a ghetto where people were burning the city when there is political problems, but everybody now is in jail. So normally they didn't expect to get another fire, but we arrived, and yeah, we can see how it's really hard to make a film in a country so dangerous like that. Yeah, and it was the most difficult part. I remember another thing is that the people of the ghetto really like my team, me, the project, and they said to me that when the police was coming, the ghetto people were saying, we're gonna protect you from the police. And then when we said to them, no, we're shooting a movie. Firstly, they didn't understand. I was saying, I'm shooting a movie. And because I am a girl and a more young girl, they didn't understand. I said it 6 times to the terrorism chef. The guy didn't understand. There were 4 really important guys of Istanbul, Turkish, military and terrorism, and everybody was on my ghetto this night for and when I was saying I'm a director, they didn't understand. It was like shock them, like I was saying I'm an astronaut, you know. So I said it 6 times, I think. So it was really difficult to sometimes really explaining, shooting, and you know, I just learned to be calm for shooting.
Yeah. There is your Turkish premiere this week, right?
Yeah, it's tomorrow. I'm gonna get a flight.
Yeah. Are you nervous?
I don't know. maybe a little bit. Even in Venice, I didn't feel nervous or for Belgium. I'm more like there is expression. The water's finding his way in Turkish.
Yeah.
It's like it's gonna find his way. But my film, it's I know that it's more different than the others. It's coming actually.
Mhm.
I'm firstly the only girl on the selection, and also I don't know. People didn't expect a film like that. I think so. We will
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. One of the topics of our festival as well is the gender balance in Belgian cinema and television. How difficult is it in your country as a female director, and especially also focusing on these subjects? You
About
touched already
queer
about
scene now.
yeah, or talking about women and the relation and politics and stuff like that, and even as a general film as a female filmmaker.
I think that they are really afraid about uh, women's.
Mm-hmm.
They are just completely afraid. That's why they are really tough with us.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand because there is a system is not working, and we are here for saying no, it's not working, and
Yeah.
it's going worse. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
they they're really bad on that. And this queer scene, I mean, like I said, in the world we're understanding how people they can love each other and stuff. And in Turkey it became of course like kind of a big horror movie about that, like we cannot talk, we can, but I don't know, I'm positive on this way, like we have to change stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I don't know, like it's really hard. It's really hard. I saw in 10 years how things going bad,
Change. Yeah.
how we cannot breathe. I mean, there's a big pressure. I don't know. I don't know how I'm dealing. I know that I'm just trying to get a new technique for on under this pressure for trying to still producing
Mm-hmm.
like this film. I didn't make a normal way. I cut it and cut it and cut it, and bringing my sound, my stuff. I mean, in war moment, always there's young generation who's making parties. I remember I saw a documentary of my friend Rémi Jordan, who's a journalist in Le Monde with Patrick Chauvel. They shot in Sarajevo in 5 years. You can see some kids who's grabbing beers under the bombs and going making pogo underground parties. And I was really feeling the same way when I was with my friends. So we need to go on this way, uh, making new form of creativity for having fun. And also as an artist, I think that all my friends and me, we are trying to bring a new way to think, and we can see that on art all the time, like even Picasso or Fauvism. I mean, they were changing all the time when they couldn't
Mm-hmm.
grasp their techniques. So I know that we are here for changing stuff, and I'm happy also to bring a new technique on the cinema. If I am as a girl, my first film, I can be on your competition. I'm really proud about that. So maybe this the new technique, what I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling is really working, and it's making a universal language at the end. So that's
Mm-hmm.
the point of a work of a film
Yeah.
and of an artist.
Yeah. As you said, the film is featuring in our competition. One of the topics of the competition is the sound, the soundtrack, the sound design, but also the music of the film. Can you tell us a bit how you approached that part of your film?
Yeah, this music. I work with Ekin Finch. She's really talented, and when I first saw her for this project, I said there is a helicopter sound, and we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
make a kind of a helicopter sound. And all, if we are not seeing the helicopter, we need some sound who's making the echo of the helicopter sound
Mm-hmm.
on the film. So she bring all the time the same rhythm of the helicopter sound. By the way, mostly on the film. And also at the end of the film, there is the French band La Savesse NEM
Mm-hmm.
song. And I said to her, well, I'm going to use that. So all we need a echo between these two different sounds. So she made all the film soundtrack on this way. Like we get our little private play all together with Ekin. We know that we bring the soundtrack with like that. It was not a different sound a lot. There is one punk sound of a Turkish, the Rose, a friend of mine. They're a band that I like, and they're really funny. And but otherwise, I really bring some kind of a one same sound thing, because all the film there's a lot of characters, so I need to that the audience can be focused on the same level, on the same texture of sounds and music. I'm coming from also I make music on my past years, and so the sound and the music, it's really important, but I didn't want to put a lot.
No.
Otherwise we cannot breathe. So there is just little resonance of the something.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us this morning,
thank you
for this talk to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.